G'day everyone, terrific to have your company once again on Tassie Rules, Tasmania's local footy show. Thanks to the great team at DLM Machinery. Big show coming up. We're getting pretty close to finals football action. We're looking forward to our club in focus this week, the Lauderdale Football Club, and one of Tassie's finest, Sam Siggins, will be joining us on the show very shortly as well. Our other regular segments, of course, featuring women's footy with thanks to Cleanaway, and a new partner to the show that we introduced last week, HST Tree Services, for our footy around Tasmania. But as we do every week, it is time now to pick a couple of photos, the ones that have been sent in to us from last week, with thanks to the team at the Little Rivers Brewing Company. All right, we're looking forward to getting some great picks, particularly from around the state over the next month as we head into the exciting finals times of footy here in Tasmania. But this week, we've picked out a couple of photos to show you. And firstly, a good friend of the show who loves to send us in some photos, and we really appreciate it. There's this one here of Braden Livingston from University at the beautiful Queenborough Oval down there in the south in their clash with Hutchins. It was a pretty tight tussle too, I might add, for most of the day. And thank you to Simone Brinsmead for shooting us in this pick. And the one we've picked this week as our winning photo, sent in from another regular contributor, Dave Harding. This is a fantastic mark taken in the Claremont versus Hobart game in the SFL, and it was Matthew Sealy here, and quite a significant moment as well, because it was a strong grab in his last ever game of football, a 298 game career. So we thought very appropriate to sign off with that one being our photo of the week, with thanks to the Little Rivers Brewing Company. And of course, we've got a gift pack. They're all coming out over the course of the next week or so as well, thanks to the Crafty Cuts range from Little Rivers up in Scottsdale. So get them in as we get towards the finals, and we'll show plenty over the next month. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Sam Siggins, he's going to be joining us next.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Great to have your company on Tassie Rules, Tasmania's footy show with thanks to Harrison Agents. It is time for our Club in Focus. So at the end of the TSL home and away season, and indeed, of course, the end of the TSL era with the restructure of community football next year, we thought we'd check on one of our clubs from the TSL, and this week it's the Lauderdale Football Club, and Sam Siggins is undoubtedly one of the premier players, not only of the club, but Tasmanian football. He's won the Alistair Lynch Medal for the best and fairest 3 of the last 4 years. Sadly, on the sidelines for the rest of the year, so we thought we'd check in and maybe take up a bit of his time at home. I'm sure he's not bored with the family, but Sam Siggins, it's good to see you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, g'day, Rick. Thanks for having me on. I'm getting a bit bored. It's been over a week now since the injury and post-surgery, so it's good to have something to do and have a chat with you.
No, fantastic. And I guess the family are probably pretty happy, and the kids get some quality family time at home, and no doubt I hope they're nursing you well.
Yeah, they definitely are. My eldest daughter, Ayla, is a bit over 3 now, and she's playing the nurse role for me and looking after me and getting me some food and drinks. So they've all been really good. Maddie, my wife's looked after me, so I'm in good hands here.
Brilliant. How are you travelling anyway? Obviously, it's just over a week and a half since the injury, and it happened at training, I believe.
Yeah, so last Monday night, it was a bit of a weird one, but it was my own fault. I had my runners on at training, and Lauderdale was pretty wet at this time of the year, so I slipped over and fell down on my left ankle and broke my fibula bone in my ankle, and it's not an ideal injury, but it's all had the surgery now and on the recovery process now. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that when the time's right, and moving forward.
Definitely. Sitting fourth on the ladder at the minute, 8 wins, 7 losses. I guess a pretty important game coming up in the north at Windsor Park on Saturday against Launceston. We've got just 4 rounds left to go. You've got North Hobart and the Tigers with a bye in there as well. But how would you sum up where you're sitting at the moment, obviously with finals only a month away?
Yeah, it's obviously been touched on a lot. We've been up and down a lot this season, but I feel like we're starting to play some good footy the back end of the year, and if we can have that consistency moving into the finals, I think it's going to hold us in good stead. And Launceston's going to be a big challenge this week. We know they're a powerhouse club, and although they've got some younger players, there's some quality players they've got there, and Mitch is obviously a great coach, so it's going to be a big challenge for them this week to go up there, and we all know it's hard to win at Windsor Park, so it's a massive challenge for the guys.
Now, without overstating it, you are going to be a massive loss for the rest of the season for the club. How do you see the club being able to handle that, and you got the players to step up?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we've got the quality players at our football club, and there's guys that can play a number of different roles, and I think it showed on the weekend that we shifted our side around, and I feel like with our forward line, we've got a lot of quality tools down there as well that can play good footy. So I think we'll be fine. And I think it's just next man up mentality, and it's a team game, and I think the guys can rally together and have a good back end of the season and hopefully play some good finals.
Indeed. Let's take a step back. It's in, I guess, comparative terms to a lot of football clubs around Tasmania. Lauderdale is a young club formed only back in 1979, and joining then the TSL in 2009. You've come obviously from previously having been at the Adelaide Crows, but we see a number of players like, Mitch Robinson obviously coming back and playing a game earlier in the year. There seems to be a strong sense of loyalty to the football club. And how have you found the time, and how do you find the football club as it continues to evolve?
Yeah, we probably don't have the rich history in terms of all the other statewide clubs around the state, but I feel like our football club's a community club, which has always been that way, even before the TSL formed. And I felt like we're small in comparison to the other football clubs, but I feel like in terms of the loyalty and sense of community around our footy club is massive. And I think that's the reason why you get players playing a lot of their career there. Obviously, for example, Nat Franklin play a lot of his footy there and has played 150 games now and could go on to play well over that. And you get guys like Marcus Fitz, Tim Perkins, and obviously someone like Bryce Walsh as well, who have shown loyalty and played over 250 games for our football club. I feel like, we're always sort of competing against those bigger sides. And I feel like, I guess from around the 2015 moving forward period, we could compete against those guys. And when I first started playing senior footy, it was really tough to battle against those bigger sides. But I feel like we've started to get a bit of respect around the state, and I feel like we're a really good football club.
Certainly are. We talk about the evolution of football, your women's team and women's football. I mean, numbers are absolutely fantastic down there. We saw last week Evie Ward also made her debut for the Devils last week against Geelong in the Coates Talent League. So there's some great young talent. We've just got a photo of Evie coming up now, but the talent that you've got coming in men's and women's and junior football seems to be absolutely fabulous and looking great for the future.
Oh, it certainly is, especially at our footy club. The evolution of since when I was there, it was just male dominated. To see the amount of women's teams now involved in our football club is great. It's so good to see, and it's a credit to our football club over the last sort of 10 or so years to get these sides together, and it's so good to see. I believe we have 5 junior women's sides at our footy club, and obviously a senior side as well. So the numbers are really good at our football club from a women's point of view, and I feel like it's only going to grow, and it's so exciting to see these young girls come through, and you can certainly see the ones that have played from such a young age as they're coming to that 16 to 18 year mark. They're starting to show that they've developed their footy from a young age and starting to play some really good footy. So I think it's really exciting for our footy club to see women's footy grow in the future.
You talked about some of the milestones. We've got a picture of Nat Franklin coming up, who played his 150th a little earlier, started the club 10 years ago. But the culture at the club, and I guess moving forward as well, Sam, TSL's going. We're going into the Premier League system next year. So all the Southern TSL clubs obviously will be a part of that, plus Brighton coming into the competition. What are your thoughts on that? You've played, obviously, you've been over there in the AFL system with the Crows. You come back here in the TSL. How do you see the structure of where football is going, particularly as we move forward towards the VFL in 2026 and then the AFL in 28?
Yeah, I've said all along that I'll always back what AFL Taz are doing, and I'm supportive and backing the decision they've made in terms of the restructuring of it all. I feel like since Devonport and Burnie have probably come out of the TSL, there sort of wasn't that statewide footy, statewide league. But I'm excited by how to look. Obviously there's a lot of disappointed people around the state, but sometimes you need to make these tough decisions. But as long as it supports the VFL program and obviously feeding into the AFL as well, I think they've made the right decision moving forward. And in terms of, you obviously want to play at the highest possible level in the state, and obviously TSL was that highest possible level, competing against the best players from around the state. So it's going to be tough to not be playing in that competition in that sense. But yeah, it is what it is, and I'm excited to be involved in what's to come.
And just finally, for you personally, Sam, I mean, this is one of the best photos I've seen in footy. I think Linda Higginson took this from Solstice last year when you kicked that match-winning goal for Tassie in that state game. But what about you personally? You're obviously on the injury bench at the moment and making your progress there. But do you harbour ambitions potentially still VFL down the track in a bit over a year?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I found out about the announcement of the VFL side coming in 2026, it was certainly something that I did the calculating of my age, and obviously I'm not getting any younger. I'm 30 now, so I'll be 31 going on 32. So it's something that I'm certainly interested to look at, and if I'm still playing good footy and there's an opportunity there, then I'd certainly definitely look at it. But that's obviously down the track. But yeah, it's something that I'd love to do and aspire to do. And if I could somehow finish my footy, even if it was just 1 year playing for the VFL side, I think it'd be something I'd be really proud of. And I feel like that VFL team will be the foundation leading into the AFL side in 2028. So to be part of the foundation of the football club, I think it's something that I'd be really excited to be a part of. But I think for me at this stage, this injury's obviously woken me up a little bit to let me know I'm not any younger and not getting any younger. And I'm going to have to recover pretty well for this. And I feel like I dedicate myself really well, and I will recover as best I possibly can to perform at a high level. And I feel like because I missed a lot of footy early days, I feel like I've still got a fair bit of footy left in me. So, it's certainly something I'll definitely look at.
No, well, we wish you well with the recovery, and we look forward to seeing you back out there with your beloved Lauderdale next year. And who knows, hopefully we'll see you with the VFL team and maybe even a coaching role down the track as we tick along a bit further into, as our state footy continues to evolve, because I know we miss seeing you on the field, mate, because as I said, you are a fantastic player, but also a great ambassador for footy in Tasmania. Really enjoyed having you on the show.
No worries at all, Rick. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure. That is Sam Siggins, and we hope we do get to see him next, in a bit over a year with the Tasmanian side in the VFL. Thanks to Harrison Agents. That's our club in focus with Lauderdale. Time for a quick break. We turn our attention to women's footy next.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice. Call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Welcome back now. Thanks to Cleanaway, time to have a look at women's footy. And geez, we're in an important stage of the season right now. Plenty to look forward to. We're going to go around the regions, and firstly, we're going to head down south to the SFL Women's Competition Division 1, and there is the table. Kingborough dominant at the moment, 11 wins from their 12 matches on top of the table from North Hobart and Clarence. They are the three dominant teams in the competition. Let's have a look at the matches coming up. Friday night footy is coming up between Glenorchy and Clarence, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And then on Saturday morning at 9:30, kicking the dew off, Kingborough are taking on Lauderdale's down at the beautiful Twin Ovals. North Hobart this week have got the bye. So Kingborough with 11 wins. Lauderdale currently sitting in 4th place. Should be a good game down there at the Twin Ovals. To Division 2 in the SFLW, have a look at the table there. And Claremont, well, they are undefeated. Have a look at their percentage, 1,106. It's a pretty dominant season, isn't it? And they are well and truly home and hosed for top of the table unless something diabolical happens before the finals for them. They will be in action against New Norfolk. Actually, should be a good game, this one. Top versus third, that is being played at Abbotsfield. Match of the day, undoubtedly. Friday night footy, 7:30 p.m. Brighton at the magnificent Pontville Oval are going to be taking on Hutchins, who are currently sitting in 2nd spot on the table. Also Saturday morning at 9:30, it is Huonville taking on the South East Suns at Huonville. University of Tasmania are at home to St Virgil's. And then at 3:30 on Saturday, 4th place Port are going to be up against 8th placed Lindisfarne. That is down at the Signet Oval. So big weekend of footy coming up in the SFLW. Let's have a look at the NTFA Women's now. Firstly, the Premier Division. And we can see the top two. That is done and dusted, of course, last year's grand finalists. Bridge North, just the one loss for the season to date so far. Old Launcestonians, the reigning premiers, sitting in 2nd place. And then we got Scotch and South Launceston separated by percentage. So those 4 will play finals this year. 2 rounds remaining before the finals games. Well, mathematically, I guess Old Scotch and South Launceston could miss out if everything goes right for Launceston in the last couple of weeks, but it'll all come down to this weekend. Tomorrow night, it is going to be Old Scotch down at the NTCA ground. They're going to be taking on Old Launcestonians. Always a great, not only a great match, but a great event between those two teams. And then on Saturday, Scottsdale, they'll be up and about at the moment. Their women's team have been very competitive the last month or so. A couple of wins on the board as well. But, of course, celebrating their men who got their first victory of the season last year. Scottsdale are taking on South Launceston. And then, they need to win. Launceston are going to be at home at Windsor Park, 10:25 on Saturday. They are playing Bridge North. So that is a very important game in particular there for Launceston. To Division 1 in the NTFAW, it's actually the final round coming up this weekend already. 2 games tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Longford will finish off their season. They're on 2 wins and they take on last year's grand finalists, Meander Valley, currently sitting in 2nd spot on the table. Last year's grand finalists will be looking to go into the final series with confidence, particularly given top of the table Hillwood. They've got the bye this weekend. And also tomorrow night, Evandale, desperately searching for their first win of the season. They're going to be up against St Pat's. It's their first season in the NTFA women's competition, and they should be pretty proud of what they've achieved this year. They've got 3 wins on the board and would be pretty confident of making that 4 tomorrow night to finish off the season. And the final game of the home and away season is at Blue Gum Park, where Georgetown are going to be in action. They're 4th on the table, taking on the reigning premiers Deloraine, who are sitting in 3rd spots. So that's at 10:55. That's coming up on Saturday. So plenty of action in the women's competitions in the NTFA. And just finally, the NWFL women's competitions, the finals get underway this week. Qualifying final down there at Dial Park. It is going to be Penguin taking on Wynyard. The winner is going to advance to the grand final. Both teams have finished with 12 wins for the season. So that's at 9 a.m. on Saturday. And then also at 9 o'clock, the elimination final. Devonport are taking on Burnie. Big rivals, of course, in football over decades, Devonport and Burnie, and I'm sure this will be no different for their women's competition. So that is a bit of a wrap of what's coming up this weekend around the regions. Thank you to Cleanaway, and of course, we'll have all the finals action coming up over the next month. Time for a quick break. Back shortly.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice. Call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
HST Tree Specialists. We are the industry leaders in vegetation management in Tasmania. Our services include tree solutions, hazardous vegetation removal, and project consultations. We are committed to eliminating vegetation-based risk in Tasmania while being sensitive to environmental impact, with a strong focus on health and safety practices. And from large-scale government and commercial projects, small private arboriculture jobs, and equipment hire, MyTas recommends HST.
Time now for football around Tasmania with thanks to HST Tree Services, our new partner to come on board for the rest of the year. Great to have them partnering with us. Now, coming up next weekend is going to be a very special round in the SFL. It is the SFL Daffodil Round, and we'll have plenty of info up on our socials. But to find out a little bit more about what's happening specifically, but also of what is a very important month for the Cancer Council of Tasmania, we thought we'd chat to the organisation, and it's a great pleasure to welcome Jill Bannon to the show. G'day, Jill. Nice to see you. How are you?
Hello, Rick. I'm very well. How are you today?
Going very good, thank you. Daffodil Round of the SFL, what a fantastic idea, because it is such a big competition and it's coming up next weekend. So tell us a little bit about the partnership that Cancer Council has with the SFL.
So it's an exciting opportunity, Rick. It's the first time we've partnered with SFL in this exciting initiative to have Daffodil Round in August during Daffodil Day month, which is a very important campaign for Cancer Council Tas as we strive to raise funds to support Tasmanians impacted by cancer. We know that 1 in 2 Australians actually are diagnosed with cancer before the age of 85, and in Tasmania, around 10 people every day are diagnosed with cancer. So in the SFL, I believe there's around 1,600 registered players. So that means around 800 of those players have been touched by cancer in one way, shape or form, which is quite an astounding statistic.
It certainly is. And it's a great initiative from obviously Cancer Council Tasmania, but big congrats to the SFL for getting behind this and partnering up. So what's going to happen in round 18 is the players, I believe, are going to wear yellow armbands on the day as well. And I assume there's plenty of ways that people, spectators, supporters can donate as well.
Yes, exactly. So, yes, the players will all be wearing a yellow armband. We're going to have some specially made flags for the umpires to wave that'll have a big yellow daffodil on them. They'll be kicking around a yellow football, which is exciting. And on at the 4 key games that are being played on the 17th, we'll have some merchandise stalls there for people to be able to support Cancer Council by making a donation or by buying one of our beautiful beanies or socks or a pin or some pens. There'll be some merch available to purchase, or just come up and say hello and have a chat with the people that are at each ground from our organisation.
Yeah, terrific. And, we want footy fans to come along, maybe in a yellow outfit or bring some daffodils.
Absolutely,
I noticed the daffodils are actually starting to come out as well, I noticed this morning. So a great opportunity.
Yes. It is. It's a wonderful opportunity. And yes, the daffs will be out. We'll be selling daffodils around the state the week after this special game. So on the 22nd and 23rd of August, that is the official Daffodil Day around the country. And so we'll be out on the streets selling our daffs and talking and to people and just raising those vital funds for Cancer Council Tas to help all those Tasmanians that are impacted by cancer.
Fantastic. And obviously having been involved with the Cancer Council for a few years with your events, you guys do an amazing job, and we know how much that the money does stay here and supports the families and those going through a treatment. So fantastic job, Jill. Thank you for coming on the show and explaining it to us, because we'll pop a lot of details up on socials as well. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Rick, and thanks for your support.
Pleasure. That's Jill Bannon from the Cancer Council Tasmania. If you can't make it to the game, don't worry, you can still support the Cancer Council as well. doitforcancer.com.au is where you need to go to. And if you search SFL Tasmania, there is links there provided as well. So great segue into what's coming up in the SFL this weekend. And we'll have a look at the ladder firstly in the SFL. And there it is there for you now. And Signet and Lindisfarne, they are occupying the top 2, separated by just percentage. Then as you can see, 3rd to 5th all separated by just percentage also, 9 wins apiece. And in fact, the top two, Signet and Lindisfarne, actually play each other this week. So that is potentially going to decide who finishes on top. So that'll be a fantastic game. The other matches this week, Dodgers Ferry at home to Hobart. Claremont are taking on New Norfolk at Abbotsfield, and Huonville, a very important game. Huonville currently in third, are playing fifth place Sorrel, separated by a percentage. So that should be a beauty of a match. So there are the games for you on the screen. Brighton having the bye for round 17. Final round coming up in the NWFA this weekend as well. Final schedule has been released, and there it is for you on the screen. Saturday week, it's the qualifying final, and on the Sunday, it'll be the elimination final. Sheffield are going to finish on top of the table. Mott and Preston will finish second, but then third to fifth are only separated by 1 win. Wesleyvale fourth and East Ulverston. So it should be a beauty of a final series coming up in the NWFA, and you'll be able to keep abreast of everything that is going on in that competition here on the show. Let's turn to the NTFA Premier Division men's ladder. This is the second last round of the season, and the table there, you can see South Launceston are a couple of games clear on top of the ladder from Longford, Rochalee, and then we drop to Bridgenorth and Hillwood. So the top 5 is set. It just depends where teams are going to finish. So a very important round coming up. Georgetown are going to be at home at Blue Gum Park. They take on South Launceston. Match of the day undoubtedly is 4th versus 2nd down at Parrot Park. Bridgenorth are at home to Longford. Should be an absolute beauty. Deloraine are taking on Bracknell, and Rochalee, well, they're the reigning premiers. They're playing Scottsdale, and congratulations to the Scottsdale Football Club. They won their first game of the season last week. They broke their duck, beating Deloraine at home. So I know it was a pretty wild night up there at Scottsdale. I heard just a little bit earlier today. So well done to the Magpies. Let's have a look at Division 1 in the men's now as well, and we can see Old Scotch have now gone to the top of the table. They played Lilydale last week. They've swapped positions, and Old Scotch got over the line. They are the 2 dominant teams in the competition so far this season. As you can see, 3 games clear of Perth, and so red-hot favourites, those 2, Old Scotch and Lilydale, to meet in the grand final. But a lot can happen in footy. It is the final round coming up. University of Tasmania in the battle for the wooden spoon. Uni are playing the Meander Valley Suns, and we've also got Perth. They'll finish third. They are at home to St Pat's. Lilydale play Evandale, but the key games in here, the East Coast Swans take on Old Scotch. East Coast, quite simply, they're 6th. They have to win, and win convincingly. It's going to be a tough haul against Old Scotch. And Bridport, well, if they can win against Old Launcestonians, they will be assured of playing in the finals. In fact, they could jump up to 4th as well, would jump up to 4th with the superior percentage they've got. So it's going to be a fantastic weekend coming up there as well. The Tasmanian State League, you can catch the match of the day on City Park Radio this weekend. 2 rivals as we get towards the end of a great era of the TSL. North Launceston are taking on Glenorchy. That game at UTAS Stadium, and all the coverage. David Moore and Matty McGee will be looking after that one. They've got some great history. These 2 clubs, of course, they clashed in the grand finals back in 2015 and 2016. And you can tune in from 5 to 1 on Saturday afternoon. Just a couple of more quick announcements. The Bridgenorth Footy Club, big day coming up this Saturday. The past players and officials luncheon. It's just $10, that's all. Jump onto the Parrots Facebook page if you were involved with the club, maybe as a player. They're going to be celebrating the 83, 84 and 2014 premierships. Your $10 includes light lunch and a free drink as well. So terrific value there. And just finally, this is always a fantastic day. It is the 21st anniversary of the South Launceston AFL Grand Final Luncheon on the Friday before the Grand Final. Have a look at that lineup. Matty Lloyd from the Essendon Footy Club. The one and only John Sammy Newman will be there, as well as the legend himself, world champion axeman David Foster, and Kath McCann, the Executive Director of the Tasmanian Football Club. They will be the guest speakers for this year. You can jump on the Facebook page of South Lonnie as well to get all the details and buy your tickets. Always sells out very quickly. So that's a bit of a wrap on what's coming up in football around Tasmania. We've only got a few weeks to go. Things are hotting up in the final series. Make sure you send in all your photos because there'll be some great shots being taken throughout the final series, I am sure. Thanks very much to DLM Machinery, and we look forward to you next time here on The Footy Show.